Hi, my name is Avyan and you're watching Parenting First in English. So, in this video we are going to be talking about mobile phone addictions in teenagers. It's the biggest problem of parents, especially in 2020. So we have a question here. I gave my 12-year-old a mobile phone just a few months ago for her online classes. At that time, I told her specifically that she mustn't misuse the device, for it has only been given to her for a specific reason. However, now I see that she's always on her phone, doing something or the other, and has stopped spending any time with the family. Sometimes she does not even come out of her room and expects us to give her dinner there. What do I do? Now, isn't this a big problem? The coronavirus pushed us inside our homes and we couldn't step out, and the schools shut down and the parents suddenly had to buy new mobile phone and new laptops for their children because that was the only way they could keep up with their academics and also be in touch with their friends. It's a very good thing that you told her specifically that the phone has been given to her for a very specific reason. That I'm assuming that you had an in-depth conversation about the usage hours with your child about the mobile phone. So that's something that that's a really good thing that you did. And now, the one thing that you must understand as a parent is that mobile phone is the only medium of connection that your child is now left with. The only way that they can connect with their friends is via the mobile phone, especially in the era of the pandemic, especially in 2020, because they can't go out and the schools have been shut down, and we know what's going on. So it's the only way of connection. It's the only way they can stay in touch with the world, and for them their world is their friends and whatever is happening in their social circle. So it may sound ridiculous, but that's just how it is. They're only surviving right now by using their mobile phones and staying in touch with their friends. So in that case, if you were to remove their phone, or if you were to completely cut down on the number of hours that they are given the phone for, suddenly, if you were to go up to them and say, okay, you are only going to get the phone for your classes, and after that you're not allowed to use the phone anymore once you're through with your online classes, that would be the biggest mistake for you to make, because that would essentially cut them off from their friends. And remember, their friends are actually sitting on the mobile phones and doing all those things. And if their friends are doing it, your teenager would want to do it as well. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a way around this problem. In this video, we will discuss about 4 ways that you can follow in cutting down the addiction that your teenager has with the mobile phone. So the first one is establishing a no phone hour. While this may sound obvious, most of us don't actually understand that we must keep our phones down when we don't need it. Don't use your phone if you don't need to use it, right? And establish 1 hour in the day where you decide that as a family, all of the family members will keep away their mobile phones and they will do something together. It could be something as simple as playing a card game, or watching a movie together, or having an organic family discussion, which is actually really impossible to do at such a time. In 2020 especially, people don't actually interact with each other, family members don't talk to each other, and stuff like that. So it's very important for you to establish a no phone hour where you keep your phones away, and where all that you are allowed to do is have either a conversation with each other or do something together as a family. It could be something like cooking together. It could be watching a movie together. It could be talking about a movie together. It could be planning for a trip together, sitting down. So by establishing the no phone hour, you're essentially sending the message across to the entire family, which includes your teenager, that hey, during this time, no mobile phones, no matter what happens. If you were to specifically establish the no phone hour for your teenager, they would feel an invasion of privacy and they would say, sorry, we can't do it. I want to use my phone and I will use it no matter what you say. So rather than have a special rule for your teenager, have a general rule for the entire family that everyone has to follow, including yourself. And if no one else does it, take the initiative yourself, Encourage your family members, encourage each and every one in your family and tell them that, hey, I really think that we spend most of the time on the mobile phones throughout the day. I mean, you probably are on your laptop or on your mobile phone because you have to attend meetings or because you're working, and same goes for your partner, same goes for your kids, same goes for anyone who's living inside their house. The only way that they're surviving right now is through the mobile devices. So in that case, it's best for you to establish a no phone hour. You must take the initiative, encourage other people to do the same, and kind of urge everyone to keep their phone away. Keep the phone on silent and put it away, right, for that 1 hour. Decide that 1 hour during the day, which is comfortable or convenient to all of the family members, and just don't use your phone in that hour. Do anything else. And it would be, I know it would be really awkward in the first few days because you would realize that, hey, we really don't have much to talk about, or we really can't talk about much when we don't have our phones, like what do? We look each other awkwardly in the eyes and, we don't even know what to talk about. So in that case, you must start a discussion. You can start off with anything. You can share a story about something that you felt. You can share your own experience. You can share what you're feeling. Same goes for your family members. Anyone can share what they're feeling. Anyone can share what they're doing at this, in general in their lives. I mean, just having those organic conversations, just having those organic interactions amongst, the family members, it will really help you as a parent in cutting the number of hours that your child devotes to the mobile phone. And, you must remember that simply keeping the phones away wouldn't work. So you decide, okay, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. we are now going to use the mobile phones. So you keep the phones away and then you're sitting and then you're staring at each other. That wouldn't work. That would completely fail. You must have a task. You must have something in mind that you will do in that no phone hour. It could be anything. Like I said, it could be you're cooking food, or you are sitting down and you're having an organic interaction. You're planning for something in the future. You're planning for a road trip. You're planning for something. You're sharing an experience. Each and every one in your family or who is in your home at that moment is sharing a particular experience. So doing something in that hour would actually make everyone look forward to the no phone hour. If you do something interesting, something that interests everyone in your family, and especially your teenager, then they would look forward to doing that in the no phone hour. And then they would, as days pass, they would be more inclined to keeping their phone away in that hour and then doing something together, right? The second point is directly connected to you, the parent. Minimize your own phone usage. Ask yourself, how many times have you picked up your mobile phone when you actually didn't need to? How many times are you on your mobile phone doing something or the other? It doesn't matter whether you're checking through, How many times has it happened that, you picked up your phone when you actually didn't need to? You were browsing through emails, you were browsing through stuff when you actually didn't need to use your mobile phone. So minimize your own mobile phone usage. Ask yourself, do I really need to use my phone right now? If you don't need to, don't use it. Because it's completely understandable that the phone provides a, I mean, at this age in 2020, kind of gives you that personal space. Because we are all living in the same house, I mean, there are 3 or 4 people, family members who are living in the same house. Parents and kids are living in the same house, in the same place, and they are seeing each other's face every day. And they have been seeing each other's face every day for the past few months. So it could obviously, feel that you would obviously feel that your privacy has been destroyed, or you don't have that personal space anymore. And that is why your mobile phone kind of provides you with an escape into a world that is entirely your own. I understand that and I accept it. I mean, even I kind of fall prey to kind of escaping into my mobile phone. But then, if you do it, you might get addicted to using the mobile phone 10 hours a day, right? You might get addicted to it and you might use it. But when the time comes, you will be able to deal with the addiction because you're smart, because you're a mature parent. But your kid would necessarily not be able to deal with it. If your child gets addicted to using the mobile phone 12 hours, 15 hours a day, it's very unlikely that they would be able to, it's very likely that they would not be able to get rid of that addiction as quickly or as proactively as probably you would be able to. So when you minimize your own phone usage, you can set an example. When you use your phone less, you can say, hey, I'm talking to you, or I want to talk to you, or let's go out and get that particular thing that we had to buy, or let's cook together, or something like that. When you kind of get into a discussion, when you get into a free-flowing discussion with your teenager, you can encourage them to drop their mobile phone, or you can encourage them to keep their mobile phone away. Or if you are having a conversation with the teenager, and if they're constantly looking down at the mobile phones, and if they are responding to you in a very in a very casual manner, you can obviously say to them that, hey, I'm not using the mobile phone. We're having a conversation. Please keep your phone away. And then you can have an organic interaction with your child. So what I'm trying to say here is that the more you minimize your own phone usage, the more of an example you are setting in front of your teenager that, hey, this is what is not supposed to happen. The third point is get out as often as you can. And what I mean by that is it doesn't mean that you have to, go to a different country, you have to go traveling or something like that. What I mean by that is go out to the nearest park, go out for an evening stroll, go out to play your favorite sport, or go out to play your teenager's favorite sport. The more you go out, the more you step out of the house, the more you play a sport, the better your teenager will be in dealing with mobile phone addiction. For instance, if your teenager likes badminton, when they are playing badminton, they're really into the sport, right? They have to be really focused on where the shuttle is coming from, and they have to hit it, and they have to be really very into the game in order to play it well, right? That kind of involvement in something that does not involve their mobile phone. So imagine a situation like this. They keep their phone away and they are playing a sport with you. The blood circulation is better. The blood circulation has increased. They are feeling more involved in something. When they're sitting when they're on their mobile phones, they're probably sitting at a particular place and they're just using their hands, and their heads are bent like this. When they are playing a sport, they're moving around. The blood circulation has increased. They're feeling more involved. They're feeling more engaged. They're physically and mentally more involved in that, right? Similarly, if you happen to be a photographer, or if your child likes photography, then you can go out with your camera, and then you can challenge your child to click some photographs or something like that. In that way, when your child is clicking photographs, and when you yourself are clicking different photographs from different angles, from different perspectives, you are intellectually and physically challenging yourself, right? You want to capture that one shot, and you want to capture it a particular way. I mean, I will be able to talk more about it because obviously I'm a photographer, but I'm not saying that you have to be a photographer to be able to get to to have the intellectual or physical stimulation. But what I'm trying to say here is that the more physical and the more intellectual stimulation that you give to your child, the better they will be in dealing with their own mobile phone addiction, because then you have given them something that is better than sitting on their bums and just using the mobile phones all through the day. So the more you go out, the more you do some things that you like, and the more you do something that your child likes, your teenager likes, the better you are putting your teenagers in, the better position they are in to deal with their own mobile phone addictions. And playing a sport will help you as well. The fourth point is that you must set ground rules for the phone usage. So if you see that your kid is not actually responding to any of the efforts that you're making in helping them get rid of the mobile phone addiction, then you must set ground rules. So rules like, okay, you're only supposed to play games on your mobile phone for 10 hours a week. You have 10 hours every week to play games, and then beyond that, you are not supposed to play it. So you can set these ground rules for them if you see that if you notice that they are playing too much mobile games. And similarly, if they are on social media a lot, then you can decide that, okay, you're going to get 30 minutes every day where you spend some time, 45 minutes or even an hour every day for social media. You can spend your time on social media, you can chat with friends, or you can do all that you want, but that's the time limit. And you must set severe consequences for those ground rules. So you must understand that for every ground rule that you set, there has to be a severe consequence. So if they go over the time that they are supposed to be using the mobile phone, then cut the privilege of them having their mobile phone 24/7. If you feel that they're not listening to you, if you feel they are spending 15 or 16 hours on their mobile phone, just giving you the excuse that we want to do homework and we want to stay connected with our friends, then you can very well say that, hey, if you don't observe these ground rules, then you are not going to have the mobile phone with you. You will only get the mobile phone for your classes and only for those set hours every day. Don't take away their mobile phones completely. That would do more damage than good. But yes, you can decide, okay, after for 4 hours they have the mobile phone for classes, and then for 2 hours they have for social media usage and mobile games, and that's it. After that, they have to they're not allowed to keep their phone as well. So establishing these kind of ground rules will really help them, help them to get in a position where they can deal with their addictions better, right? And the more severe consequence that you have for these ground rules, when they break these ground rules, the better position you would be in. And what if none of this works? Well, if none of these points work, I would say that you must cut the privilege of letting them have their mobile phones 24/7. That's the only thing that I would suggest. Rather, set clear rules about when they're supposed to get the mobile phone. So whether it's at 10 o'clock in the morning or at 8 o'clock in the morning, and from 8 o'clock in the morning, if they have the mobile phone until 4 in the evening, and after that they have to submit it to you, and they are not supposed to get it until the next morning at 8. So when you set these ground rules, when you cut those privileges away, when you cut that basic privilege of having the phone with them for 24/7, you're essentially giving them the message that, hey, if you break the ground rules, then you're going to face severe consequences. That will help. And remember that they're using their mobile phones because they don't have they don't have a better alternative. They are finding an escape in their mobile phone. So you must do something that helps them find something interesting to do that does not have them using their phones. And that will really help them. Thank you.